Gotta load now. Okay. Hello. It's so cute. Thank you, Olive. Russell, I'm listening to Runaround by Blues Travelers. Trump saved my marriage is crazy. Crazy thing to say. Swarovski, I'm so sorry. Just don't look. Good morning. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here today. Let me get that organized. Unmute over here because I'll forget. Hello, how's everybody today? How y'all doing? I'm sorry, Soroski. I knew that was going to be traumatic for you, and I apologize. But if it makes you feel better when I show videos, you can't see the actual stock market part anymore. You can still see the oil, though. Welcome in, guys. Me too, Ari. I'm tired. I'm hoping that seeing a movie with my kids on Saturday, like, rejuvenates me, but, like, my soul is tired. But welcome in, everybody. I do appreciate you. And let's make sure we are tapping that screen over here on TikTok. Share the live out. You can share it to friends. You can repost it. You can add it to your story. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. I also have, you guys knocked out those roses, so I put the little hot cross buns up there. If we can knock that out, that does help push us onto the algorithm. I have 7-5 left on my goal because W to Chicky. We love Chicky here. And Chicky looks me in the eye, so it's good. That's the way I like it. W's to Chicky for the 25 this morning to kickstart my goal before I even went live. So there is only 75 left. So let's start working on that. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal in my bio, and we can absolutely get that knocked out today on this Thursday. I would appreciate it. Guys, I'm also multi-streaming, so I am over here. Thank you for knocking out the hot cross buns. I am over here on Twitch and YouTube. You can go over to Twitch and follow and subscribe. There are stickers. There are bits. You can go over to YouTube and you can subscribe or become a member. And there you can send super chats in case I miss your messages because sometimes it goes too fast and I just don't see it. So we can do all of those things as we get started this morning. I have not turned the phone lines on yet, but I will. Guys, don't forget that I am willing to have conversation with you if you are still supporting Trump based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings. So if you tell me that you support him for a specific reason, I want you to be able to back that up with things that are not press releases would be great. So with that, we can get started this morning. We'll get right going. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I'm 20. I voted for Donald Trump. My state is Pennsylvania, and I wanted to ask what you think about anti-Semitism. Like, do you think it's bad that people are constantly feeling this?
I think it's bad that we've seen an increase with it, and I would probably blame the right propaganda for that. But why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, I say we have to kill all Islam because they're pedophiles, and yeah.
What about the Catholic Church prevalence for pedophilia?
I'll kill them as well.
Oh, okay. What about Donald Trump's preference for pedophilia?
Kill him as well. Because
okay, cool. Glad we can get on the same page for that. But you voted for him, so maybe you should think about that. Cool. Yeah, trademark. That's a fucking way to start, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Which he's going to say, don't bring me into this. That's what he's going to do, which I apologize for. All right. We're going to see if I can actually get to this immigration section, but I'm not going to start there. You have a PowerPoint on right way. No, you are not allowed to do PowerPoints anymore. I thought we learned that. Hi, work wife.
Hello.
Okay. So let's start here with Donald Trump and some of his truths yesterday because the ceasefire fell apart. And it fell apart fast. And now the United States is trying to save face and pretend as if they were not involved in the talks around this framework. Now, I will say that the 10 points that were put out by Iran are absolutely unreasonable. There is no way in hell that anybody would remove UN regulations or remove all the sanctions that compensate them for what they've lost in the war. That is unreasonable thing. So no, that was not agreed to. But the framework of it was agreed to. That is what we were told. That's what Donald Trump truthed about. But apparently they didn't read what they said they agreed to in way of a framework. And so now there's been a lot of miscommunication on both sides, and the United States is trying to save face for what happened. So he truthed out, yesterday, okay? Numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the USA-Iran negotiation. In many cases, they are total fraudsters, charlatans, and worse. Now, we're going to get into that because numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out. Specifically, the big one is going to be from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, who Donald Trump credited it in his tweet from yesterday, in his truth from yesterday, credited him with getting this framework deal done. So it's interesting now we're just going to throw him under the bus, I guess. They will be rapidly exposed after our federal investigation is completed. There's only one group of meaningful points that are acceptable to the United States, and we will be discussing them behind closed doors during these negotiations. These are the points that are the basis on which we agreed to a ceasefire. It is something that is reasonable and can easily be dispensed with. It's very much like fake news CNN last night headlining a source that had no power or authority to write a letter claiming great authority, President Donald J. Trump. Now, it's falling apart because I don't think they actually read anything. I think Donald Trump was looking for an out. He thought he found it, but he didn't. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for? Hi, can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
23, Donald Trump, and I live in Texas.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
Mainly, I just like what he's doing with illegal immigration and deporting the illegal immigrants.
How does that help America?
I think that if you come here illegally, you should be deported.
What's our immigration law?
What'd you say?
What's the title that our immigration law is under?
I think it's Title 8 or something like that, I've heard.
Sure. What is the consequence for improper entry?
I'm pretty sure like a first-time offense is like jail time or a fine.
Right. So again, how is it beneficial to get rid of immigrants in this country?
Do you not think it's beneficial to deport like illegal immigrants that are like rapists and
criminals?
I don't know if I can
Absolutely.
say
No,
that.
I have no issue with that. Even if they have legal status and they commit a crime in this country, revoke their status and deport them. I have no problem with that. But that's not what this administration is doing. We have seen where over 75% of the people they are detaining and deporting have no prior criminal convictions at all.
So I didn't know that. I watched this one debate, and I heard the opposite stat, that it was 75 that did have criminal status.
Yeah, see, but I haven't seen that. We see this from the Cato Institute, who is actually citing DHS's own numbers, that DHS's numbers are that 75% of the people they have detained have no prior criminal conviction.
Well, I think that what he's doing with deporting the illegal criminals I think it's good.
Why? Well, the
Because
criminals, sure, the criminals.
Yeah,
But the
that's what I
problem
think.
is that's not the only people he's going after. That's where my issue lies, is he's denying due process to people anyway. Even if they are criminals, unfortunately, the way the Constitution works is you get due process, or else we would just start calling our neighbors witches again. So they have
Right,
to
I
get due
understand that.
process. But he's also going after people who've been in this country for decades.
Do you have any like specific instances that like had happened that I can look into, or
Of what specifically?
like any specific people who have been like denied due process, or
Yeah,
people who
Kilmar
have been, like,
Abrego Garcia.
wrongfully?
That was ruled in the Supreme Court.
Okay, I'll look into that. I haven't
Sure.
seen much into that. I guess my second reason
I would ask real quick though, he was the one who was in Maryland who was sent to CICA in El Salvador, where he was specifically the country he was not supposed to be sent to. There were accusations that he had harmed his wife, but there was never a conviction. That it was that case. It was all over the news.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
Sure, that's fair.
I do a lot
was
of my
just wondering.
research on Facebook.
Okay. I would say
So I
not
don't
the
really
best
know.
place, but yeah.
I don't really know where to look, so I just like go to the search bar and look up like Donald Trump good stuff.
Donald Trump good.
Yeah,
That
and
would
then
be-
it like shows videos of like what he's done that's good.
Well,
and
that
I
would be
just, like,
confirmation
regurgitate
bias.
it.
And so even if you search that, what I would advise you to do is if you find things that are being told to you that he's done that are good, is I would then go into Google and actually find not just the things he says or what other people say he's done that's good, but actually look it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I talked to my buddies at work because I do like construction, so we talk on the
Sure.
job, and they all told me that it's fine to look in on Facebook and stuff. My
Well,
next
okay.
my next reason why I probably support Donald Trump is because of I just don't think that Kamala Harris would have been able to do anything that would benefit our country.
That's not why, but I don't ask why you voted for him because Kamala Harris lost. That's over already. That's why I asked specifically
That's
why
why I
you're
voted
still
for him.
supporting him.
Because
Sure. Cool. That's great. She
I
lost, he
voted for Trump
won.
because
She lost, he won. Now I ask why you're still supporting him because I'm not seeing benefit to the United States in what he's doing.
why not? Like what's he doing that's harming America? He's fixing everything.
Tariffs are harming America. This war in Iran is harming America. Getting rid of immigrants is actually harming America.
The war
Mhm.
the war in Iran is because the people in Iran were going to come into America and they were going to invade us. I saw a video on it.
What?
The citizens in Iran were going to put ground troops. They were going to
No.
fly ground troops, and I saw a video of it.
You saw a video
On
of
Twitter.
them going to put ground troops here, which is interesting because
No,
the
it was-
administration doesn't even argue that point. That's interesting.
No, it was a video on Twitter
Okay.
of the Iranian guy that I guess the
Iranian
top
guy.
head in Iran saying that they were going to put troops in America, and that's why America had to step in and say, no, you're not going to be able to harm America because
Why isn't
Donald
that-
Trump loves America.
Why isn't that what the Donald Trump administration is saying? Because their objective for why we're over there has changed multiple times. Why is that?
They are saying I've also
No.
they are saying it, but
No, show me
so
one example of
CNN
somebody. No, show me one example of somebody within the administration who has said that.
How do you want me to show you that if I'm on the phone now?
You put me on speakerphone and you go search for it, then you tell me and I can bring it up.
What do you want me to search it on?
I don't know. You said you saw it. Go find
It's
the
on my
person.
phone, but I don't know how to.
Go
don't know how
find the
to-
person
on
within
my-
the administration who said that.
Who said it was? I think it was Donald Trump himself.
Said that they were going to put ground troops.
Yes, but what happens is CNN and all these news sources, they come out with this AI flop and they
No,
put it on the news.
You don't know what
And
AI
that's
is.
what, yeah,
That's,
you
no.
liberals and you Democrats, you all just
I'm
look
not a
into all that.
Democrat. I know that you've got all
I
the
said-
talking points. You said you Democrats. That would include me. No,
I said liberals too.
I'm not a liberal either. Trump declines
you?
to rule out ground troops. I'm a leftist. Trump weighing several options for U.S. troops inside Iran. There is nothing about Iran putting ground troops. Trump says he won't send ground troops. President Trump says he is not afraid. Putting ground troops. So where are you finding where Donald Trump himself said that Iran threatened to put ground troops in the United States?
It was on a Twitter post.
Go find it. I get all my clips
Okay.
and my outline from Twitter, and I can do this. You go find it.
Hopefully it didn't get deleted and I can find it.
Oh no.
Because that's what the leftists and liberals and Democrats do. They
Who owns Twitter?
silence. Huh?
Who owns Twitter?
Elon Musk?
Oh, okay. Is he a left winger?
No, but he's bought out by left wingers.
Oh, who owns Elon
Where do you
Musk?
think he gets? Where do you think he gets all his money from?
The government. Who owns Elon Musk?
No, he gets all his money. He gets all his money from Democrats
No,
that
he
fund
doesn't.
him and pay him to.
He got money from his
It's
daddy.
a
Do you know what
whole-
his daddy did?
It's a whole conspiracy, but it's
By
real.
who?
It's not a fake conspiracy.
By who? Let me guess.
By me.
No.
By me and
Who's-
some of Alex Jones.
Uh-huh. Alex Jones doesn't like Trump right now. Did you know that?
I don't care. We don't.
Cool. I don't care either. W. Lenati for the 10 over on the PayPal. Kid, don't get news from Facebook. Chonkla, chonkla, chonkla. And Google Trump bad. Have the day you deserve. If you would like to try to be actually a critical thinker, You should probably research the things you say. You think that I just believe the shit that came out of Biden's mouth? Are you insane? Look it up. That is a wild claim. I have never heard that Iran is threatening ground troops. The administration doesn't even say that, bro. Get help. Seriously. And you're 23. You're still old enough. Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. Yeah, maybe if you Google or Facebook searched Kamala Harris good, you probably would have found things. It would have been a good idea, maybe. You could have tried that. Okay. But again, we're back to this. They're trying to save face. So this was some Caroline Leavitt yesterday.
Iran has agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay,
and as
Chicky.
the president said, we have received a proposal from the Iranians that has been determined to be a workable basis on which to negotiate. I've seen a lot of inaccurate coverage today from the media about these negotiations and these plans already. So let me be clear and correct the record. The Iranians originally put forward a 10-point plan that was fundamentally unserious, unacceptable, and completely discarded. It was literally thrown in the garbage by President Trump and his negotiating team. Many outlets in this room have falsely reported on that plan as being acceptable to the United States, and that is false. With
The Pakistani prime minister said it. He said it. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
57, Minnesota, Trump.
Oh, hi, friend. How are you?
Good. I have to put a smile on your face. I actually used your phrase at work yesterday. Now, I may have to say HR in the morning, but it was worth it.
Well, I hope it doesn't go too bad for you. I don't want that.
Ass kisser at work, so I said, you just glazed everybody's taint around here. And oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I just thought you rubbed off on me at work yesterday. Have a good day.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good day. Bye. No.
I love that.
It's becoming a thing. Glazing taint. I'm sorry. Okay. But the Pakistani prime minister agreed to this. And Donald Trump, again, credited him in his truth about the ceasefire being a thing. So it's interesting now that they're saying the opposite.
president's deadline fast approaching and the United States military completely decimating Iran with each passing hour, the regime acknowledged reality to the negotiating team. They put forward a more reasonable and entirely different and condensed plan to the president and his team. President Trump and the team determined the new modified plan was a workable basis on which to negotiate and to align it with our own 15-point proposal.
Sure. Now, again, I will say that I think the 10-point plan was ridiculous, but the problem is that y'all came out and you didn't explicitly say the 10-point, but you said that the deal was done thanks to the Pakistani prime minister, and that was the one they were talking about. So how are we supposed to deal with that? Which is interesting. Again, she was talking about it being a historic deal. I just want to play that clip because, again, the strait was closed at this point. She just didn't know that.
The world has just witnessed a historically swift and successful military triumph. President Trump started Operation Epic Fury with strategic military objectives, and the United States has clearly achieved them. The world...
Did we? Even Fox News didn't say we achieved them. Oh, Caroline, come on now. I'll leave those for just a minute. So then they asked, because the ceasefire is broken, Iran is being bombed. Now, if you want to say that Iran broke the ceasefire because they continued to bomb Gulf nations overnight after the agreement was agreed to, sure, you can do that. I have no problem doing that. I would say you have to choose which administration you believe. No, they're kind of both, whatever. I'm just saying that I trust their administration a little more than I trust ours at this point. But they were bombing Gulf states overnight. And then Israel started bombing Lebanon again, which is where Iran says that they broke the ceasefire. So we're having the problem is we're having a miscommunication in the fact that our administration is saying that the strait is now open, and if the strait stays open, we will stop bombing. And Iran is saying stop the bombing, and then we'll open the strait. So it's that tug of war game of who starts it first. Donald Trump has an ego, so the ceasefire's done. But here in this clip, they're asking her, like, so who is still bombing Iran then if we have this historic deal?
Yes. Trevor.
The latest news out of Iran is that the air defenses have been activated in several cities, including Isfahan, and that explosions have been heard in Isfahan. Who is bombing Iran right now?
Were those reports just as of a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I'll have to go back and check with the national security team. I'm standing out here with...
Why'd you send her out there? She doesn't know. You should not have sent her out there. You should have canceled that briefing.
all of you, but I will do that and we will get you an answer, okay?
And just on the civilization question that we've been talking about.
And I would just add to that point, again, I haven't seen these reports. I'm not verifying them. Not that I don't trust you, Trevor, but I want to go back and check with the experts here at the White House. I would just say, and I would echo what the Vice President said this morning, this is a
Oh yeah, Ashby, the best case scenario for us. I've said that before, even with that horrible fucking press conference that Trump held, that we watched, to its entirety. And it's annoying to listen to him. He repeats his greatest hits, but sometimes he just starts rambling. Let them talk. They just keep digging.
Fragile truce. Ceasefires are fragile by nature. We've seen this with respect to the 12-day war with Iran and Israel last year. It takes time sometimes for these ceasefires to be fully effectuated. And one of the results of Operation Epic Fury was we completely dismantled Iran's command and control center, which makes it difficult for them to pass messages up and down the chain. And so we understand that. I would caution a little bit of patience, but of course we want to see the ceasefire effectuated and abided by all parties as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
So she doesn't know. They're being bombed. We don't know who's doing it. We do. It was Israel and us. Okay, let me do this so I know that I'm not going to lose my spot here. She's then asked, who controls the strait? What's that in part of the deal? Who controls it?
In the blue, go ahead.
Thank you, Kathy. The White House posted the statement from the Iranian government that the passage in the strait will be coordinated with Iran's armed forces. As of today, who controls the Strait of Hormuz?
Again, these statements were put out 12 hours ago. We expect that the strait will be opened immediately. As I've said earlier, we have seen an uptick in traffic in the strait, and it's something that we are monitoring minute by minute, hour by hour as the days go on.
I'm asking another question. Who controls the strait right now?
One on the deportations of...
So she doesn't know. It's Iran still, obviously, since it's closed again. It's Iran that controls the strait, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know so much that she is told live at the conference the strait's closed again.
Caroline, Iranian state media is saying that Iran has now closed off the Strait of Hormuz today in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. What's the White House response to that? And you just listed many military successes. I understand that. But strategically, how is the administration arguing that Iran does not have more economic leverage than it did before the start of the war?
Sure. Well, with respect...
Get to that just a second. Oh my God. Hi, what country are you calling from?
Nigeria.
Oh, are you a Trump supporter?
So I was originally at one point, but I'm not anymore.
What changed for you?
So what changed for me, honestly, is his immigration policy. This administration is very anti-immigrant.
Mm-hmm. He campaigned on that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you're shocked by it.
Well, the first time he was in office, he campaigned on that too, but he wasn't as aggressive as he was this second time around.
I mean, his family separation policy was pretty fucking bad.
Right. It's gotten to a very terrible level.
Yeah.
Right. But I was gung ho on Trump, all the way, and that's why I'm no longer. My main reason why I don't support him, right? Because he's all, America first, America first. What does getting rid of immigrants like myself have to do with all the American economy and all the other things we need in the country.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. But it's what he campaigned on, but hopefully we can move on to better and stop him.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course. It might have been. It sounded like... Audie, I can show you later. Like, it could have been just how it got put in, too. It was just interesting how it was put in. Okay, so back to Caroline she's being told on the fly that the strait was closed.
Now than it did before the start of the war.
Sure. Well, with respect to the first reporting out of Iranian state media, the president was made aware of those reports before I came to the podium. That is completely unacceptable. And again, this is a case of what they're saying publicly is different privately. We have seen an uptick of traffic in the strait today, and I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand.
Except even that's not true. She goes on at one point and she says like 12 ships went through. The only thing we saw at the time were like 3, I think.
That the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely. That is his expectation. It has been relayed to him privately that is what's taking place, and these reports publicly are false.
Caroline.
Anything that goes against the president is going to be false to Caroline. So then we're not going to let this go. I refuse to let this go. It's a big deal, and I don't know why they're trying to make it seem like it's not. Levitt is questioned on the fact that Donald Trump truthed out that an entire civilization will die tonight, advocating for genocide. It was enough to make Megyn Kelly mad, which is interesting. And asking, like, how can we fucking have the moral high ground when you have a president who speaks like that? Again, 2 things can be true. Nuance. The Iranian regime can be fucking terrible, while at the same time, we don't talk like that because we should hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Regarding the president's rhetoric, when the U.S. invaded Iraq in 2003, George W. Bush said in a message to the Iraqi people that the military campaign was directed, quote, against the lawless men who rule your country and not against you. Yesterday, the president threatened to destroy Iran's civilization, the entire civilization. Not the Iranian government, but the Iranian civilization, the Iranian people. The U.S. has been a moral leader for most of its history by fighting wars against other governments, not against civilizations. How can the president claim that America can ever have the moral high ground if he's threatening to destroy civilizations and not casting wars as fight?
Sigil? Is it sigil? No, I don't know that. You guys keep saying that. You guys keep saying, oh, shut the fuck up. He's talking about the IRGC. Why didn't he say the IRGC? Why didn't he say the regime? Because he could have, right? When you write something with purpose, you could write the entire regime will die tonight or the entire IRGC will die tonight. That's not what he wrote. He said an entire civilization. Also, the context of that threat was that they are going to go after civilian infrastructure specifically, not military targets. That's not what they were saying in the days prior, right? No, they were saying civilian infrastructure. Stop trying to add context that's not there.
It's against other governments.
Andrew, I think you should take a look at the actions of this president over the course of the past 6 weeks and the actions of our brave men and women in our United States military who have taken out essentially taken out the military of a rogue Islamic regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years, that has killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers over the course of the last 5 decades. The president absolutely has the moral high ground over the Iranian terrorist regime, and for you to even suggest otherwise is frankly insulting. Go ahead.
No, we don't have the moral high ground. Just because they kill and maim people doesn't mean it makes it okay for us to kill and maim people. And Sigil, by the way, responded to what I just said by saying you're getting caught up on semantics. We are talking about his truth, which is made up of what? Words, which is also what? Semantics. I'm just reading his words for what they are. It sounds like you're the one getting caught up in the semantics because you want it desperately to have said something it didn't. Again, in regards to his truth, she is asked about it again by a different reporter, and her answer, I want you guys to listen to her answer. It is disgusting. It's not he didn't mean this. It's not he actually meant this. It is results.
The president yesterday threatened that a whole civilization would die if a ceasefire deal wasn't reached, understanding that Iranian leaders have previously said death to America. But why is it appropriate for the president of the United States to use that kind of language when talking about civilian targets? And was the president mocking Islam by signing off his True Social post over the weekend, praise be to Allah? Wouldn't that antagonize Muslim allies across the world?
Well, I understand the questions about the president's rhetoric, but what the president cares most about is results.
So he's willing to threaten genocide to get those results. That's what she's saying. All he cares about is results. He is willing to threaten an entire nation of 91 million people in order to get it done.
And in fact, his very tough rhetoric and his tough negotiating style is what has led to the result that you are all witnessing today. Iran publicly acknowledging last night that they have agreed or that they wanted this ceasefire with the United States because they no longer could tolerate being bombed by our very powerful and lethal military, and that they have committed to the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which the president will hold them accountable for, and it's something the administration is closely monitoring in real time.
Well, whoopsies, it's not open. Because Israel is killing people in Lebanon, women and children. Speaking of Lebanon, that's part of the dispute, right? The Pakistan Prime Minister is saying that was a part of it. Our administration is saying it was not. So here is Caroline Leavitt saying that it was not.
Would President Trump like to see Lebanon included in this peace deal? Because as you know, there have been increased Israeli strikes on Lebanon today with dozens of casualties there.
Sure. Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire. That has been relayed to all parties involved in the ceasefire. As you know, Prime Minister Netanyahu put out a statement last night in support of the ceasefire, in support of the United States' efforts, and he's also assured the president they'll continue to be a helpful partner throughout the course of the next 2 weeks.
Is there any thought, though, that the president might like to see Lebanon included at a future date, given that it seems to be causing or potentially undermining the Iran ceasefire?
Again, this will continue to be discussed, I am sure, between the President and Prime Minister Netanyahu, the United States and Israel, and all of the parties involved. But at this point in time, they're not included in a ceasefire deal.
So that's what she's saying the administration is saying. And that's what Vance is saying. Here was Vance off of the plane where he was campaigning for a dictator in Hungary. I do have that. I don't know that we'll get to it today. I keep trying to get to it. We'll see.
First of all, I actually think, and there's a lot of bad faith negotiation and a lot of bad faith, propaganda going on. I think this comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't.
So did the mediators that our administration was talking to. That's the thing. If you want to say it was a miscommunication and just a mistake and not anything malicious, that's totally fine. Not anything nefarious, fine. But this was also being told to us by the mediators, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and I think Asim Munir of Oman, I believe he's from.
We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states. First.
Again, they're trying to save face because they agreed to something they didn't read. But it's okay because we can read it. Let me just highlight these here so I know where I am. I have the actual one and I have the one that I was going to highlight. So, oh no, that's a 4-minute clip. I didn't want to play that. So this is being quoted by Tommy Vitor of Pod Save America if you don't know him, but this is, you can go find it if you look up CM Shabazz on Twitter. You can find this was posted literally the time that Donald Trump also came out and said that a deal was reached, when it was finally being reported that a deal was reached. With the greatest humility, I am pleased to announce that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America, along with their allies, have agreed to an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon and elsewhere, effective immediately. I had it too. I found Tommy's because it was like in conjunction with her saying Lebanon was not a part of it. We're like, we can go. Do you want to go to the original one? I can bring it up for you. We'll go search for together. This is how you do it. Except for when they post too much, and then it's like... Go back. That's not where we're at. When was that? That's the 9th. That's the 8th. I need to go back farther. Sorry. There it is. Look. Same thing. You can find it on the actual post.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Just can't with this administration. Just stop lying.
Yeah, I wanted to point out just how far afield Caroline Levitt's answer was to the reporter about when he asked, is it appropriate for a president to say these things? And if he's saying something like mocking them by saying praise be to Allah, what does that signal to Iran? And her response was, I know you're worried about his rhetoric. He just cares about results. But that wasn't the question.
Right.
The question was what does that signal to Iran, and is it appropriate for a president to be saying this?
No, because that's all they care about is feelings. But it's fine because Vance is going to give us reassurances about Lebanon, so it'll be okay. Because here's Vance's reassurances about what Israel is going to do with Lebanon.
That said, the Israelis, as I understand it, again, I'm supposed to get a fuller report when I get on the plane, have actually offered to be, frankly, to check themselves a little bit in Lebanon because they want to make sure that our negotiation is successful.
What does that mean? To check themselves in regards to Lebanon as they actively keep bombing and killing women and children?
I guess at some point Netanyahu's gonna grab his own hand and pull it back.
Yeah. Listen. Stop it. Like what the fuck does that mean, Vance?
That's not because that is part of the ceasefire. I think that's the Israelis trying to set us up for success, and we'll, of course, see how that unfolds in the next few days. But look, if Iran wants to let this negotiation fall apart in a conflict where they were getting hammered over Lebanon, which has nothing to do with them and which the United States never once said was part of the ceasefire, that's ultimately their choice. We think that would be dumb, but that's their choice.
But even that, let's say Lebanon's not a part of the ceasefire because we're not actively at war with Lebanon. We started shit with Iran because Israel started shit with Iran. Sure, I'll agree with the administration for this exercise. Lebanon's not included in the ceasefire. But we're okay with our ally who we fund just bombing Lebanon because they fucking feel like it? We're okay with that.
Bombing the ally of one of the members of the ceasefire is setting us up for success?
Yeah, it's going to go really well, I think. And then I liked this moment in Levitt's press conference. There was a reporter who confronted her. I don't know how they made it in because they're very strict about who they let in now. They've been getting sued for it. But you had, for all the people who tell me, the Iranian people want this, the Iranian people want this. Here is an Iranian confronting Caroline Levitt.
A second question on family and friends in Iran. I myself am Iranian, and I've been talking to them through the blackout. One of my family members yesterday said goodbye to me. So what message should we be sending Iranians when they message me saying what should they be doing right now? How should they stay safe? Because they really don't know what to do.
I think the president's main priority, and my main priority as his spokeswoman, is to make sure that clear messages are sent to the American people, of course, which is my job today. With respect to the Iranian people, the president, has taken out the imminent threat that was posed by their military to the United States, to our allies in the region, to our forces in the region, and of course, as the president has long said, he hopes that Iran will be a country of peace, of prosperity, and we're moving into this next round of negotiations to hopefully come to an agreement with this new regime that will create long-term stability in the Middle East.
They said that they should stay inside of their homes and also take back their country. So there's a contradiction there. So how do you address that?
Again, we're moving into this next round of negotiations with the remnants of the regime and those that we are speaking with now to hopefully reach a place of peace long-term for the region, and that includes the Iranian people as well.
Just answer her question. You have told the Iranian people both to stay in their homes and hide because you're bombing them, but to also come out of their homes and rise up. Which one is it? And I thought about this last night into today. And it's just an interesting paradox that we live in with MAGA. You guys have been shouting, you guys were shouting it to me yesterday, the day before that, this entire time. You're shouting at me that the Iranian people want this, that they want the bombs because they want to be liberated, right? Isn't that what MAGA said? They are asking to be liberated. They are begging for this help, and we should support Donald Trump and the billions of dollars that we're spending in taxpayer money to do it, right? That's what you guys told us. Then why the fuck were you complaining for 2 motherfucking years about sending weaponry and way less money to Ukraine for the people of Ukraine who were actually, with verified proof, asking for our help? Square that circle for me.
But Monty, you can't square a circle.
I can't with that yesterday. I almost fell out the floor. You can't square a circle, dummy. The point.
My circles are squared.
I know we haven't talked about Ukraine in a while. Unfortunately, there's been so much mess that Ukraine is kind of just suffering in silence right now, and that we have just become a pimp. And what we do now is we still support Ukraine, but we do it through a third party. So we let Europe buy our weaponry and then have them send it to them so we can just make money off of war because that's what we like to do. But square the circle. You cannot say that we're doing this and need to support it to liberate the people, but also cried for 2 years and all the way up to the election of, I don't want to fund Ukraine anymore. I don't want to give any more money to foreign countries. What are we doing right now? But for the last little bit of the Iran that I have, this is reporting from CBS News about the attack in Kuwait, where we lost service members. So I'm going to show you the headline for that first, and then I'm going to get into the video just because it's easier for people to pay attention than for me to read it. Army survivors of deadly attack in Kuwait dispute the Pentagon's account and say the unit was, quote, unprepared to defend itself. So let's get into that.
We're seeing the aftermath of the Iranian attack that killed 6 people at the Kuwait command post for the first time. CBS News correspondent Jonah Kaplan spoke with a soldier who survived that attack. He says Army leadership knew the attack was possible but failed to prepare for it. Now, we agreed to hide his identity because he is speaking without the military's permission.
There was almost nothing left.
Chief, that'll get you muted. Most of the time, we don't mute over there on YouTube unless you're throwing out slurs and disgusting rhetoric. Don't ever tell me that I don't care about our service members. Don't ever fucking say that. I just listened to a guy in Olives this morning literally just talk about the fact that because definitionally by our Constitution it's not a war, that Afghanistan wasn't a war. Please go stand in front of a combat veteran and tell them that and film it for me. My father was in Kuwait in the Gulf War when I was a baby. He helped outside of the medical tent while they brought in bodies. Okay? Which led to his fucking issues when he came home and had seizures that took his life. I don't want to hear shit about me not caring. I do care, which is why I'm actually reporting on this, whereas the administration is going to deny it. Because they're going to say, we have the best military in the world, and we don't let anything get through. This just happened to, I don't know how, we've won the war, but also we still need to keep fighting and we're winning. They are putting our service members in harm's way.
They're still sitting there to this day, and actually taking that a step further to a point where they've changed a lot of deployments. My older brother did 2 tours in Afghanistan. He came home broken and his mind was gone. He still has issues to this day.
And then you guys are totally fine with voting for the guy who rips away the funding to take care of them when they get home. So fuck off.
Only charred debris from this outpost in Kuwait for the Army's 103rd Sustainment Command. This is the first time any evidence of the damage on the ground has been shown publicly.
Everything shook, and it's something like what you see in the movies. You know, everything, your ears are ringing. You know, there's dust and smoke everywhere.
This U.S. soldier was part of a crew of about 60 troops stationed at the installation, tasked with managing the movement of equipment, munitions, and personnel across the Middle East. We are putting you in shadow, but there's still a risk for you speaking that you could be identified. Why do you want to take that chance?
For me, I think telling the truth is important.
His unit's leadership ordered them to move to the post ahead of the war. And he says they did that despite intelligence showing it was on a list of potential Iranian drone targets.
We moved closer to Iran, to a deeply unsafe area that was a known target.
So what was the reason that you were told for why you needed to be there?
I don't think there was a good reason ever articulated.
The attack was Iran's deadliest strike against the U.S. in 5 weeks of war, killing 6 American soldiers and injuring dozens more. Were these deaths preventable?
In my opinion, absolutely yes.
Something else the soldier wanted to share, the bravery and heroism of the surviving soldiers, many of whom triaged each other and drove themselves to local hospitals.
Just shrapnel all over, so folks are bleeding from their abdomen, bleeding from their arms, bleeding from their legs.
This was a direct hit.
Yeah, 100%.
The day after the attack, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called the Iranian drone a squirter that got through the Army's air defenses.
It happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
What fortifications existed there?
I mean, I would put it in the none category from a drone defense capability.
None. There were no fortifications.
None.
What you're describing can be very painful for a lot of the families of the fallen heroes, for a lot of the families of the injured.
I'm very sad for their loss, and it's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. But I'm also immensely proud of them and their sacrifice, and their family should be too.
A spokesperson for the Pentagon declined comment on the soldiers' claims, citing an active investigation regarding the actual drone attack. Pentagon leadership previously has said all measures were taken to safeguard the troops. Meanwhile, those injured soldiers, most of them are back in the U.S. recuperating from not just their physical wounds, but their emotional scars too.
This administration is lying, and they keep lying. My love is with the people who signed their name on the dotted line. It is not their fault that they are under a bullshit administration who doesn't give a fuck about them and doesn't prepare them. Because Pete Hegseth lives in a world where he thinks it's great without putting in any work. The reason our military is great is because of our service members, because of our generals. Because they put in the work. They actually communicate what is needed, what is planned, what to be prepared for. They did not prepare them. And to sit here the next day and say that it was a squirter, which is a term that they use, to say that one snuck through. is disingenuous. They were not prepared. I doubt they were even fucking told that we were going to be helping Israel bomb Iran. But y'all keep glazing his taint and say you care about vets. Sure.
My favorite person on this app, who's in the chat right now, was hoping to go to Australia. Now she's going to that region where there's active heat thanks to this incompetent administration. This bloodthirsty administration.
Danny, I am getting paid. Specifically, it is a new month. It's a great reminder, Danny. Thank you to make sure I get my grift in. We still have to remember thank yous to Chicky and thank yous to Lenati for getting us down to 65. I have 65 left in my goal, guys. So remember, I have the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal links all in the link tree in my bio to make sure that I get paid. If you have not turned in your Antifa dues for the month of April, you guys may need to make sure you do that because George Soros breathes down my neck in my emails every single day. We have to make sure that we're paying our overlords. So to ensure that we're doing that, please help me out with my begging and my drifting. Those links are going to be in my bio. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys. We're almost at 50,000 likes before we hit the top of that hour, and I appreciate it. You guys are doing amazing. I have the little, what is he? He's a tiny bunny, Diney. If we could get those accomplished, I would appreciate that as well. And if you have not liked the stream over on YouTube, please do so. And hi over there on Twitch. I do see you guys. I just don't have to watch you as much because you guys behave over there, and I appreciate that. YouTube is the problem child over there. So keep supporting and do all the good things. That was a CBS News report, Chicky. I will have it in the live outline. I have the actual story, like you can read from CBS News, and then I have that interview video. I'm not sure if it was longer than that or if it was just that 3-minute segment, but that was CBS News Mornings that reported on that. So then we're going to go back to Levitt just real quick because I wanted to put this in here, which is she was making note that Donald Trump was set to meet with Secretary General Rutte. It's spelled like it would be Rutte or Rutte yesterday in regards to NATO. And she is asked about whether Donald Trump is still, which I don't even know, again, I don't know why journalists do this. If you want to talk shit on the journalists and the media, MAGA, here we go. You are on the same side as me right this second. The fact that you're even asking if he is thinking about withdrawing from NATO as if that is even a constitutional possibility is where I have a problem. I had the same problem when journalists would ask him, are you going to run again? There's no point in asking that question. He can't. He cannot remove the United States from NATO without congressional approval. He just can't. He can write a fucking executive order. It will mean nothing. So she's being asked if he is meeting with the Secretary General in order to do that.
Is the United States still considering withdrawing from NATO? Is that still a possibility?
It's something the president has discussed, and I think it's something the president will be discussing in a couple of hours with Secretary General Rutte, and perhaps you'll hear directly from the president following that meeting later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
He can't, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. Mark says, why not? Can't we be total isolationists? No. Because our economy would collapse. Give me an example of a country that has gone isolationist that has worked out.
Also, the last time we were isolationist or attempted to try and be isolationist, we ended up going into World War II anyway, so.
Why'd you send it yelling at me?
Oh, because I can.
Okay. So thank you, Olive. W's to Olive, W's to Egg, W's to Work Wife, for the $24 on the Blue app. She said, Ma!
Oh, it was supposed to be my rent. Sorry.
Oh!
I typed in rent, and apparently it added emojis instead.
Yeah, it just said ma, house, and flying money. So I was like, was like, she's doing, like, what are we yelling about?
I mean, house and flying money, that equates to rent.
It's true. It's true. That's where it goes. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for? You're supposed to add a beat to that.
I think he was trying to rip ass, but it sounds like the phone ripped his ass.
Sounded like a transformer though. Like it wasn't good. You
If
tried.
we start talking about Megatron, I don't think we want to.
Nope, we'll summon her. I'm just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, let me do. I can do that math. That's easy math.
Skrillex and falling off is crazy.
I mean, are they wrong though? Are they wrong? So then this is, which one's this one? She quotes, Caroline Leavitt quotes the president here in regards to NATO, and this one pissed me off. So if I crash out after she says this shit, I apologize.
Caroline, two questions for you. One has to do with a statement, a joint statement put out this morning by some of America's European allies, our NATO allies. And in that joint statement, they said regarding the Strait of Hormuz, our governments will contribute to ensuring freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. What's the administration's reaction to that joint statement? Does that smooth things over when the president meets with NATO Secretary General a little bit later this afternoon?
I have a direct quote from the President of the United States on NATO, and I will share it with all of you. They were tested and they failed.
How? When they came and helped us when we were attacked in 2001, how did they fail? The only time they've been tested, they stepped up to the plate. Their people died for us in Afghanistan, and even worse, their people died for us on a lie in Iraq. You gave them a test that they didn't ask to take.
So I was doing, somebody asked about if the US could get kicked out of NATO. So NATO has no expulsion mechanism. So there's not really a provision for suspending or expelling a member. Legal experts say that under the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, if a country commits a material breach of a treaty, the other members could theoretically vote unanimously to suspend or terminate the treaty relationship with the country.
Sure.
It is more likely that because I hate to say this because it's what MAGA likes to talk about, but because we give the most dollar amount
Per GDP, sure.
towards NATO, that they would more likely dissolve and create a new alliance than to just unilaterally kick the US out.
That makes sense.
And in the same, like, I was wondering about the UN as well. Under Article 6, a member that persistently violates the principles of the Charter can be expelled by the General Assembly. For an expulsion to happen, the UN Security Council must first recommend it. The problem with that, the US is on the Security Council and can veto its own expulsion.
Yeah. And the UN has no teeth. So
Right.
there's that. Prep says they all breached, none pay fair share. It's not true.
They don't know how.
You don't know how NATO works. Do you think it's like a NATO bank account that we all just like?
It's the NATO slush fund.
The NATO slush fund. That's not what's happening. I'll let Caroline finish.
I would add, it's quite sad that NATO turned their backs on the American people over the course of the last 6 weeks when it's the American people who have been funding their defense. As you know, President Trump will be meeting with Secretary Ruta in a couple of hours here at the White House, and I know he looks forward to having a very frank and candid conversation with him.
Well, from Donald Trump's truth, it doesn't sound like it went well. This was his truth shortly after the meeting. NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. Remember Greenland, that big, poorly run piece of ice. President Donald J. Trump. Again, it wasn't there when we needed them. We needed them in 2001 and they came.
When did we need them for Greenland?
Also that. Because
Like,
Denmark
he
said
sounds
fuck
like we
off.
were-
Like, I don't know.
Like he makes it sound like we were at war with Greenland and NATO didn't show up.
I don't know who mentioned Greenland to him again that we're back on this. I don't know who did it. Like, somebody must have whispered in his ear Greenland, and he was like, oh yeah, whatever happened with that? And even saying that big, poorly run piece of ice is insane. Like, people in Greenland are mad. Like, this is my fucking home. It probably was Peter Thiel. But again, my issue is that NATO wasn't there when we needed them. Yes, they were. They always have been. Always. They weren't here for this because, again, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, you did not consult them before you did this. Why would they come to help you in something they were not given input on? I wouldn't. Absolutely the fuck not. You went and picked a fight with them. I didn't. And now you want me to come fight them too? Absolutely the fuck not.
I just had a tism moment and had to just look into some information about Greenland.
Oh no.
Greenland is the world's least populated country. There we have Springfield, Ohio has more people than Greenland.
Yeah,
It
it
has-
doesn't have a lot of people.
Yeah, it's 57,000 people in Greenland. And he's talking about how it's poorly run. Like there's nobody there.
Well, but you know
And
what? It
Denmark
does
is
have
in charge.
resources.
Like right, and Denmark is there like is basically oversees Greenland. So they have the resources. I mean, they have another like strong country backing them. So
Brad, you said this was a test to see if they need to be involved with. I don't think you understand what NATO is. Like people in my chat are saying, because they're smart. It's defensive. It's not offensive. We started this. So no, they weren't going to get involved in something that was offensive. Why would they do that? And also, sounds like World War to me if you're asking for other countries to get involved. But that's just you know, that thing you all said you didn't want to happen. Okay, before we move to immigration, I do have this real quick that I don't know if anybody heard about. But it's being reported that the Pentagon and the White House are now pushing back on alleged remarks made to the Pope and the Vatican. The Pentagon and White House are refuting reports that high-level U.S. defense officials told Pope Leo the, oh my God, I can count, right, 14th, right? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Thank
Leo,
you.
Pope Leo the 14th.
Thank you, Pope Leo the 14th and the Vatican to take the United States' side when it comes to matters of military influence and Western Hemisphere oversight. Oh, you let me read it earlier. Hold on. Now you're going to be a brat about it. Guys, while we're sitting here, keep tapping that screen, doing all the good things while I get this figured out, because capitalism sucks, and so they try to make you pay for information now. It's a pain in the ass.
also when you said Pope Leo, like real quick, it sounded like Pop Leo, and I was like, the Pokemon?
Pop Leo. Yeah, that's who I meant. Totally.
Why is the Trump administration threatening Pop Leo?
You fuckers. You gonna let me read this? Okay, cool. Jeez. Allegations stem from interactions that originated in January, according to the Free Press, which reported that Undersecretary of Defense Elbridge Colby allegedly summoned Cardinal Christophe Pierre, the Vatican's ambassador to Washington, D.C., to deliver a bitter lecture during a closed-door meeting characterized as tense. Colby purportedly told Pierre that, quote, the United States has the military power to do whatever it wants in the world, adding the Catholic Church had better take its side. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for? Okay, good for you. So again, quote, the Catholic Church had better take its side. On Wednesday, independent journalist Christopher Hale on his Letters from Leo webpage confirmed that the meeting took place, adding, quote, that some Vatican official were so alarmed by the Pentagon's tactics that they shelved plans for Pope Leo XIV to visit the United States later this year. The Pope, 70, who hails from Chicago, was expected to come to the U.S. this July as part of the nation's 250th anniversary celebration. The Free Press's characterization of the meeting is highly exaggerated and distorted, a U.S. Department of Defense spokesperson told Military.com on Thursday. The meeting between Pentagon and Vatican officials was a respectful and reasonable discussion. We have nothing but the highest regard and welcomed continued dialogue with the Holy See. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly did not directly remark on the reports and claims therein, instead touting the Trump administration's accomplishments. I'm not going to read that. I don't give a fuck. A Vatican official told the Free Press that the alleged Colby threat was a response to the Pope's challenging of the so-called Don Roe Doctrine, President Donald Trump's updated view of U.S. dominance and influence in the Western Hemisphere. Quote, a diplomacy that promotes dialogue and seeks consensus among all parties is being replaced by a diplomacy based on force by either individuals or groups of allies, the pontiff said in January during his annual address to the Vatican's diplomatic corps. Officials in the Vatican saw the officials' purported remarks as referencing an Avignon papacy, viewed as a threat to use military force against the Holy See. And then it goes into historical references, but even Hitler didn't threaten the Pope. Because that would be crazy. Like, where's the religious people? Where's the God-fearing people? The Pentagon had a lecture to our ambassador, who's the go-between, basically saying the Pope needs to get on board with this, as the Pope has been speaking out against use of force and war. But you guys are okay with that? I'm sure you are. Okay, we'll move to immigration. I had wanted to get to this. So this, as we know, Mark Wayne Mullins is supposed to be, I don't know when he has his confirmation, though. He's just, which is interesting, because he's now just like going around and doing interviews as if he already has the job when he doesn't. But he specifically did an interview with Brett Baier about sanctuary cities. And they started talking about this recently. Sanctuary cities and international airports. They think that this is going to be how they quell sanctuary city policy, because they know that they can't per the Constitution and the law. So they're going to try to do so. Congress is in recess. Yeah, you're right. They're going to try to do so in a monetary way.
To keep your state as safe as my state.
But, Mr. Secretary, you know that the issue here is that you have states and cities that are sanctuary states and cities. And that's part of the issue. It's part of the problem. We saw it in Minnesota. How do you get around that?
Well, I believe sanctuary cities is not lawful. I don't think they're able to do that. And so we're going to take a hard look at this. Just one area we may take a hard look at is some of these cities have international airports. If they're a sanctuary city, should they really be processing customs into their city? I mean, seriously, if they're a sanctuary city and they're receiving international flights, and we're asking them to partner with us at the airport, but once they walk out of the airport, they're not going to enforce immigration policy, maybe we need to have a really hard look at that, because we need to focus on cities that want to work with us.
So you're saying that big cities that are sanctuary cities that have a big airport, they might lose their customs?
Well, I'm saying we're going to have to start prioritizing things at some point. Right now, remember, the Democrats are wanting to defund Customs and Border Patrol. Well, who processes those individuals when they walk off the plane? And so I'm going to have to be forced to make hard decisions. Who's willing to work with us and partner with us? Once again, I'm not going outside the policies that Congress passed for me, and we're not trying to push those, but we're saying you got to partner with us.
Some of the criticism is that.
But the funny part is, how? I would love to see them try to do this. The people who do customs in those airports are from the State Department. That's federal. Pull them. How are you going? Do you know what's going to happen to our tourism, to our fucking flights if you have international airports that can no longer take international flights, are you insane? That shit will grind to a fucking halt. Pull them. I fucking dare you. And you know what? One of my favorites here in Colorado, this is just a local, just to be petty. Kyle Clark dares you too.
President Trump's new Homeland Security Secretary went on Fox News today and suggested pulling customs officers out of airports in so-called sanctuary cities, cities that aren't helping the feds with deportations. If those officers were to be removed in Denver, that would mean that international travelers could no longer fly into Denver International Airport. This is just an idea, according to DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullen. At that point, I suppose we wouldn't be able to call it DIA. And then, of course, the airport for years has been trying to get us to call it DEN. That's still not happening. If the Trump administration takes the I out of DIA, we're going with DA, which is dumb. But dumb ideas are not illegal. President...
Because technically they changed the name. It has been DEN. We don't call it that. Everybody still dead names that bitch. That is DIA. That is Denver International Airport, and we will not be changing the name. Sorry, I meant to click something else, not my mic. You know, it is what it is. I'm glad we could laugh for a minute because we're gonna get to frustration. Here is the CBS interview that was done with Liam Ramos's family. If you don't remember, Liam Ramos was the child that they took and they sent to the Dilley facility, even though his family at the time had a asylum case pending. Now, the administration is trying to deport them still. They're still going after them. And this is CBS is reporting on that.
Liam Conejo Ramos is in many ways just like any other 5-year-old boy.
Pizza. You like pizza, okay? ¿Qué tipo de pizza? What type of pizza do you like? Pepperoni. Pepperoni.
But what he doesn't yet understand is that his story is at the center of America's polarizing immigration debate. Images of Liam, confused, standing alongside ICE agents on a cold Minnesota afternoon in January, sparked national and global outrage. His father, Adrian Conejo Arias, had just picked up Liam from school.
ICE has told us that you tried to escape, flee, evade arrest, and that you abandoned Liam in the process. Is that accurate?
No es verdad lo
It's
que
not true.
dicen las personas, no.
ICE claims Liam's mother, Erica, refused to take him, but she says she feared the whole family would be detained.
Do you believe ICE was using Liam as bait?
Sí.
Yes, you do.
ICE transferred Liam and his father to a family detention facility in Texas, accusing them of being in the U.S. illegally. The family from Ecuador says they entered the country legally at a port of entry in 2023 under a Biden administration program.
Lo más difícil es que no podía hacer nada.
You couldn't do anything. You were powerless.
After 2 weeks, a federal judge ordered them released, but the government is still pushing for their deportation, recently terminating the family's asylum case and asking a court to allow ICE to detain them once again.
Real quick, Clind says the law doesn't say kids can stay and Americans pay for their education. It actually literally fucking does. There is a Supreme Court case you should look up. Okay? Are you listening? I need you to listen. Supreme Court case, Plyler v. Doe. Okay? Okay.
They always have such big feelings about things they never read.
Yes, it does. Plyer v. Doe. It absolutely does say that regardless of children, he definitely can't spell it. Regardless of a child's status in this country, they have opportunity and access to education. Try reading.
Creo que fue una injusticia que nos hayan hecho eso, cuando en realidad sí estábamos haciendo todo bien.
Now back home, Liam is seeing a psychologist, and his parents say he seems to be a different boy.
What are you scared about the most? Immigration. ICE.
And Camilla joins us now from Minneapolis. So Camilla, what does...
And we'll get to that in a minute before I crash the fuck out. entered the country illegally and can't even speak English. They entered the country legally. Did you not listen? They came through a port of entry, which they're actually not even required to do, to seek asylum. Are you listening?
The family situation look like, and what kind of legal options do they have?
Good morning. The family is now actively appealing the termination of their asylum case in immigration court. But if that fails, their lawyer tells us the family could be detained again by ICE and potentially deported to their native Ecuador. The Trump administration says anyone here in the U.S. without proper documents and living here illegally is subject to deportation, including 5-year-old Liam. But advocates tell us that the administration is penalizing and punishing people like Liam's family who are trying to comply with the legal immigration process.
You guys don't like the law. That's the problem. Asylum is the law. They terminated their case, but that's not the end. They are allowed to appeal that, and they're going to. So what was I going to get to here was, okay, I remember. I have that one from, oh, okay. So we talked about it before. If anybody remembers, there was the incident, the ICE shooting in Minnesota. Yeah, I know, Monica. Which one? The ICE shooting in Minnesota where they shot through a complex for someone they claimed attacked an ICE agent with a broom handle. Do we remember that one? Supposedly attacked an ICE agent with a broom handle, fled into a house and was shot at. When we talked about that case, I brought up, and I have it again just to give you guys a refresher, that the DOJ actually dropped that case against those immigrants. I have the actual court document. I have the CBS News document. Actually, I'll just show you those right now. Let's do that. So this was in February. DOJ drops charges against two men accused of assaulting ICE officers in Minneapolis, citing new evidence inconsistent with the complaint. You can go on and read that. I'll have it linked. And then if you want to read the actual court document, because, you know, news media is news media. Okay, here is the court listener, has the actual case. These were the people. I want you to remember, I'm not just pulling up a random case out of my ass. Aljorna is the last name. Okay, United States of America v. Alfredo Aljorna and Julio Celis. The United States of America, by and through its undersigned attorneys, hereby respectfully moves the court for an order to dismiss with prejudice, meaning they cannot bring it up again, the complaint filed in this matter against the defendants. That was the DOJ. Okay? Let's remember that. Here is, we have video now. Again, ICE is a bunch of fucking liars. We knew that. But ICE is a bunch of fucking liars. Before I do that, so I don't lose this, because I would love to be able to pull it up. Not that one. Joseph, thank you so much. W's to Joseph for the $21 super chat to say, show more military Lego AI videos, JK for the overlords. Thank you so much for your overlord payment. I will make sure George Soros will be very happy with me for that. So thank you so much, Joseph. I appreciate you.
From a city camera in Minneapolis shows the moments before a shooting involving an ICE agent and 2 Venezuelan immigrants. It also suggests why ICE's initial account of the events that night in January, that the men violently...
I said Julio. Chicky? Didn't I? I said Julio for his name.
I missed it.
What happened?
...attacked the agent, eventually fell apart. CNN's correspondent Priscilla Alvarez is here with us. She's been looking at the video. Walk us through what we're seeing in this new video.
Well, did I say you? That probably is because I can hear myself in the stupid headphones with the microphone. That's probably why. Makes me fuck up.
To start, Wolf and Pamela, we knew that something was off because a month ago, the Justice Department dropped the charges against these 2 Venezuelan migrants, and ICE said that its 2 agents had made false statements. And now, through the release of this video, city camera video, we're starting to understand why that is. Now, when you watch the video, it's a 9-minute video. There's a struggle that ensues, and it's about 12 seconds. Now, you're seeing the video there as it is happening. One of the things that had been said in the aftermath of this is that the struggle was about 3 minutes, but that's not true when you see this happen. The other really critical thing about this video is that it shows that a shovel is dropped before there's a struggle. The shovel is important because in the initial statements from the Department of Homeland Security, they said that these 2 migrants had attacked the ICE agents with the shovel. But what this video shows is that that was not the case. The shovel was not part of the struggle. There was a shovel present, but it was dropped on the ground. Now, all of this was during Operation Metro Surge. That was that unprecedented federal agent surge to Minneapolis. And this was when there were multiple incidents, of course, the 2 fatal shootings of the 2 U.S. citizens. But this was also an incident that got a lot of attention. At the time, the Department of Homeland Security said, and the secretary at the time said, that these 2 migrants were trying to murder law enforcement. But ever since then, what we are learning is, again, that the 2 ICE agents made false statements under oath, and that this video now shows that the way the struggle was described by these agents was not accurate, and therefore the way the Department of Homeland Security described this was not accurate. Now, what we know from an ICE spokesperson in a news statement on Monday is that these agents could face termination. They're currently on administrative leave or criminal prosecution. So this is still very fluid because it is now a situation where 2 agents lied under oath.
And ICE admitted that they lied.
The way my jaw stayed firmly in place.
Nobody's shocked.
Actually, I'm more shocked that they admitted it.
Yeah, actually, I guess it would be that. And then there was, this was new. Oh, this was California. Why did I have it in there? Is that state? That's not where we are. There was a recent shooting in Patterson, California, and DHS claimed that officers approached the car. The wanted gang member weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run an officer over, and so they fired because they were in danger. Well, again, the video evidence doesn't show that. The video evidence showed that he was boxed in. Now, granted, he's fleeing. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but he's fleeing and he's boxed in, and so he reverses out of the car in front of him and the car behind him. There's a tiny little slot, and he girls out and he tries to go this way. And the officers who are standing there, he's not trying to hit the officers, he's trying to go around them, start shooting at him. Again, the thing is that they are just lying. It's all that they know how to do is fucking lie. There's no sound for this, by the way, so. It's just dash cam. So we'll go through it. So again, here's one car. There's a whole line of cars. Okay. Here's the car they're pulling over. Okay? Now, should he have been going and trying to get around him when that officer's right there? No. But then he reverses because he's like, okay, they're in the way. I can't get around them. Let's reverse. He's trying to get away. If he wanted to run them over, he had perfect opportunity right fucking here when all 3 of them are just standing there. You would have just gone straight if you wanted to run them over. They were trying to get away. Why does DHS lie? Why do they lie? It doesn't matter, Mark says. I think it matters. It matters that they keep lying about this shit. But it's okay because I guess luckily for us, as much as we have had bad news in the judicial branch is the only place that's holding up to their word. And we thank them for that. This is let's see, the United States District Court of Massachusetts. This was a lawsuit of African Communities Together versus Nome. This is Judge Murphy, okay? Memorandum and order on plaintiff's motion for postponement of agency action. Fundamental to this case, and indeed to our constitutional system, is the principle that the will of the president does not supersede that of Congress. Presidential whims do not and cannot supplant agencies' statutory obligations. The Constitution requires that the president, quote, take care that the laws be faithfully executed, a directive which includes enforcing the laws in accordance with congressional commands, and administrative agencies granted executive authority by Congress may operate only within bounds of the bounds Congress has set. Yet, in this case, defendants have disregarded both that foundational principle and the statutory scheme enacted by Congress. At the heart of this case is the Temporary Protected Status Program, which Congress created to provide humanitarian relief to foreign nationals in the United States who could not safely return to their countries of origin because of armed conflict, environmental disasters, or other extraordinary conditions. See 8 U.S.C. 1254 AB1. Congress established a series of procedures by which the Secretary designates a TPS country when such conditions are present and extends that designation when the conditions remain or terminates the designation when the conditions cease. If you remember, not this one, but the previous midterm Monday, I played the PBS special for you, specifically about TPS status and how they tried to break it in the first term, and they were still going through court from stuff from his first term, let alone now. Ethiopia was designated for TPS in 2022 in recognition of widespread armed conflict, large-scale displacement, and severe climatic shocks, and extended in 2024 through December of 2025 because the dangerous conditions that necessitated the initial designation remained prevalent. Then, on his first day back in office, President Trump issued an executive order claiming that many, quote, aliens unlawfully within the United States present significant threats to national security and public safety, committing vile and heinous acts against innocent Americans, and that others are engaged in hostile activities, including espionage, economic espionage, and preparations for terror-related activities. The order directed the Secretary of Homeland Security to ensure that TPS designations are appropriately limited in scope and made for only so long as may be necessary to fulfill the textual requirements of that statute. On the surface, this reads as a directive to follow the law. In substance, it is a troubling mischaracterization of the statute, which is intentionally and specifically responsive to dangerous conditions in other countries, rather than the immigration policy of any particular president. As one proponent of the TPS bill stated, foreign nationals in the United States displaced by warfare should not be subject to vagaries of our domestic policy. It should not be vague. So let's get to the order. They tried to end it. Let me see if I can find the order of the court. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons, plaintiff's motion to postpone the effective date of the termination of Ethiopia's TPS designation is granted. So the judge has granted a postponement of revoking TPS for Ethiopians in this country. This is a 32-page thing. You can absolutely read all of it. I'll have it linked. I always do. Thank you, Kyle Cheney, for doing the goddamn work. That is where Donald Trump is losing in immigration. And he's going to keep losing because he keeps violating the law. There are specific things that are laid out for why you have to, or for how you can remove TPS. And his administration is not following that. You can't just remove it because you want to. Who has? Oh, Justin answered it for you. Temporary protected status. That's what that means. Guys, we've got about 30 minutes left, and I don't know why we are not to 75,000 likes by now. You guys just stopped tapping on me. What the fuck happened? Can you guys please make sure we're tapping? I know that we can hit 100,000 before we end today. So start tapping over here on TikTok. I know you guys can do it. Much to Olive's confusion, you can use your index fingers and your thumbs, depending on how you like to tap. And your partners will still thank you for all of those things. So I appreciate you guys doing that. I have 41 left in my goal. If you guys would like to help accomplish that, I would appreciate it. Again, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. That is the best way to do that. So that I get all of it instead of the corporations that I'm on taking a majority of it. I would appreciate if you guys would do that. Don't forget, I am multi-streaming. If you would like to watch me on Twitch and YouTube, you can feel free to go over there and do that. I would appreciate it. Had to pet the wife and talk to the dog. Dragon's Count. Well, now you have to pet my screen. So that's, that's what you got to do. Oh, no. What do you want?
Oh, my.
Hi. Oh, no. Where'd you go? Come back.
Oh. You guys only tell one side of the story. You never Facebook searched immigrant bad and showed us those results.
It's true. I didn't do that.
It's so one-sided.
Yeah, I did not search immigrant
What
bad.
happened to fair journalism?
I can't stand you. Go away. CM, no, I have not, and I don't plan to because I don't argue with disingenuous fucks who use
who has
AI.
You know who has though?
Manny.
And I did.
You did too.
With Blue.
I don't plan to. I don't.
2 lane, 1 way don't exist.
Right. And he also, one of the last times I saw him talk to RJ, he said, I don't need to bring sources. So I'm not going to listen to a man who talks to ChatGPT as his source and just does things to glaze for his chat. No thanks. Not me.
Like when I use my Gemini Gem, I told it to have verifiable sources with it. And I go and check those sources before I go and say anything with it.
He uses Grok. Yeah, but he does so disingenuously. He will leave words out of laws. Like, he is so fucking bad faith. Absolutely not wasting my time and energy unless I'm getting paid some damn good money to be able to do that. Absolutely the fuck not. All right. So, JD Vance was in Hungary. Hungary has an election coming up. If you don't know, Hungary right now is in, Victor Orban is in charge. He is a dictator. He has taken full control over the media and everything else over there. And it's so bad that somebody from within his own party is running against him. Yes, he is a Russian puppet. You are absolutely correct. Common sense. But JD Vance is over there to not influence the elections. But he is over there to spread misinformation, which is wild. So we're going to get into this.
So to answer your question, yes, we're certainly aware that there are elements within the Ukrainian intelligence services that tried to put their thumb on the scale of American elections, on Hungarian elections. This is just what they do. This is part of the cost of doing business within some elements of their system.
Ukraine does?
So to answer your question, yes, we're certainly aware that there are elements within the Ukrainian intelligence services that tried to put their thumb on the scale of American elections, on Hungarian elections. This is just what they do. This is.
He is now spreading misinformation, that Ukrainian intelligence is interfering with elections or trying to. What in the Russian simp is happening in our government? It's wild. And I have more clips from Vance, but I am going to go to this real quick. Oh, I got to turn that down while I have an ad. This is a Bloomberg Originals piece. It says why Orban's grip on Hungary is slipping. And I don't know that we'll watch the whole thing. I don't remember how long it is. Once I get through the ads, I'll know. Isn't Ukraine a little busy right now? You would think they're a little busy right now. It's just we're spreading Russian propaganda now. That's all that we're doing. Just an arm of... Yeah, so this is 11 minutes long, so I probably won't... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long I decide to go for. But this is just kind of a conversation about what Orban did in Hungary, and how it's affecting the country and how there's parallels. And I also have a clip on somebody talking about those parallels. Oh, well, that doesn't help if you can't hear it, does it? No.
There is an election in Hungary on April the 12th. Victor Orban is behind by double-digit percentage points.
For more than a decade and a half, Victor Orban has outlasted almost everyone in European politics. He's proven very adept at holding onto power, and he clearly has a great appetite for power.
But he and the Hungary he shaped are under pressure from stagnant growth, high inflation, mounting scandals, and now a formidable opponent.
Hungary's election is not just important for voters in Hungary, but also in Europe, the US, as well as in Russia.
Whoever is in power will have a very hard time over the coming years to address both societal, economic, and political concerns.
And what happens in Hungary won't stay in Hungary. Inside Europe, it wields influence far beyond its size.
The loan remains blocked because one leader is not honoring his word.
So how did Orban create one of Europe's most durable political machines? Why is it now under strain? And no matter who wins in April, why does Hungary's next move affect the rest of the world? As a member of the European Union, even small countries can veto decisions of global significance, and Hungary is one of them.
Hungary's allies in both the EU and NATO have become used to Orban opposing many of their joint initiatives.
Hungary plans to block every EU decision concerning Ukraine until oil starts flowing again through the Druzhba pipeline in Ukraine.
Hungary has dragged its feet at NATO's expansion when it took in eventually Finland as well as Sweden, but only after serious foot dragging from Orban.
Very often it seems that the interest that the Hungarian government is trying to protect is that of Russia and sometimes maybe even China.
Including via doubling down on Russian energy contracts at a time when the EU is trying to tighten sanctions.
Much of that stance reflects the priorities of one man, Prime Minister Victor Orban, and his desire to move past the country's former Soviet occupation.
He has cultivated ties in Moscow, in Washington, and Beijing.
He also waded into US politics and endorsed Donald Trump during his first presidential campaign.
And Trump returned the favor recently, endorsing Orban.
But that relationship is rooted in a system the Prime Minister began building years earlier. Orban first won office in 1998 as the leader of the right-wing Fidesz party. He lost office in 2002, but not forever.
Orban returned to power after 8 years in opposition in 2010.
He came back to power with a mission to institute regime change.
And to build what he later called an illiberal state, an ideology that stems from his disdain of liberal democracy.
Almost the very first thing he did was to pass a law changing the electoral system.
In effect, critics say, helping entrench Fidesz's advantage. And that was only the
Sound familiar to anybody?
start. Orban also pushed through a new constitution.
This included removing effectively the top Supreme Court justice.
He also managed to install his political loyalists in state institutions as well as the media.
Newspapers were taken over by his business allies.
Someday.
Does that sound familiar? Brendan Carr in the FCC bragging about defunding certain organizations that he feels speak ill of Trump. Pete Hegseth saying he can't wait for CNN to get bought out so that they can install their friends who are going to be nice to the president. Does that sound familiar?
He actually just shut down.
That allowed him to essentially create a national echo chamber.
Public media functions as a megaphone communication channel.
Hi.
Hi. I hate all of them. They're all dumb. JD Vance says Ukraine did election interference. I want to throw so many things, but I also wanted to share a funny. For those that weren't reading Olive's comments or the chat in her live. So this morning I woke up late because I'm trying like this new watch that's supposed to like I don't know, just not make loud noises.
Oh.
And be more comfortable while you sleep. And I keep apparently turning it off. So I gotta fix that. That's my problem. Anyway, so like I look at my phone and I go, oh shit. So I get out of bed and I'm like wearing my socks and I slip on the hardwood.
Oh no.
Drop my phone. Oh, I didn't like fall forward or anything. I landed on my bum. I literally landed on my bum with my feet out like a V, touching the dog. I didn't even kick the dog. I was just touching her lightly, and I'm just like, that's kind of funny.
I mean, at least it wasn't disastrous. That is what makes it funny. It's only funny after you're okay.
No, I don't even think it was obvious that I did that because Polly didn't move.
Just the silent fall.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like in the rush, I think the sound of the phone falling overshadowed the sound of my bum hitting the floor.
Poor thing.
For the governing
Just so you guys know, apparently the phone weighs more than Ari. So
I'm not shocked by that at all. You're so tiny.
party.
It has that kind of sense of constantly cultivating images of an enemy or a threat from outside.
For years, that grip helped him control the political story, even as economic strains mounted. After returning to power on a wave of anger over the financial crisis, Orban presided over years of modest growth, rising wages, and new factory jobs. His government delivered tangible financial benefits to families. It's just that with a sputtering economy, these have become increasingly costly to sustain.
Economic growth and inflation have been really the twin problems of the Orban government. Hungary had the highest levels of inflation after the pandemic, and Hungarians had been really struggling to make ends meet over the past several years.
Again, just remember the similarities. Economies were having a hard time, very specifically, during and after COVID. And we'll get back to it in just a minute. I just want to make sure. W's to Connor for the $5 on PayPal. I'm actually going to read it. For dealing with the people in YouTube chat, you'll bite your tongue on what you say about them. And you can say what you want about them. But thank you, Connor. I appreciate
They're
it.
the worst.
To the pressure, since 2015, house prices in Hungary have more than tripled, outpacing the EU average and rising faster than incomes for many Hungarians. It's a far cry from the tailwinds Orban enjoyed upon his return to office, following the initial challenge of overcoming the effects of the global financial crisis.
He was very lucky at the start. The world entered a period of low inflation and global growth, and then loads of European Union money flooded in. And critics say that actually a lot of that luck was wasted because it was ploughed into kind of visible projects like, prettification of town squares, prestige building, and things like that.
Meanwhile, neighbours like Poland pulled ahead as Hungary lost momentum.
Whether it's income per capita or household spending or cancer survival rates or number of universities in the global top 1,000, and it's sort of now kind of at the back of the queue, whereas once it was at the top.
Hungary was doing relatively well after its accession to the EU, but if we look at the trajectory, we see that the Hungarian economy is lagging behind, whereas Poland is taking off.
The government has had to retrench investments, including in public services, that were never really well funded to begin with. Orban himself has had to pass an executive order to stock hospitals with toilet paper.
Now, big industrial bets were meant to restart growth and fix a lot of that, but so far they've fallen short.
Orban has sought to position Hungary as a bridge between East and West, including economically, where, for example, Hungary serves as a hub for German car companies, especially during their transition to the electric vehicle era. So he's brought in a lot of Asian, Chinese, South Korean battery makers in order to boost Hungary's economy.
It hasn't really delivered because the transition to electric vehicles has gone slightly more slowly than we expected, and because the German economy, on which Hungary relies for exports, is itself struggling. Then there were a series of scandals coming out of the battery factories relating to leaks of toxic chemicals into the environment.
At the same time, anger grew over the widening gap between a well-connected elite and ordinary Hungarians.
Own wealth.
Gosh darn it, ads. Leave me alone. Play a little bit more of this because it does show that, again, we're getting to that. The well-connected elite while everybody else is poor. Sounds like somebody and their friends.
One of the biggest problems under the Orban administration, according to Transparency International, Hungary has plunged in rankings all the way to last place in the European Union.
Taken together, a stagnant economy, failing services, and deep corruption created a powder keg. That opening was seized by Peter Magyar, a former insider of Orban's ruling elite.
It took an insider-turned critique to credibly deliver the message that the system is rotten.
Using the once marginal Tisza party as his vehicle, Magyar largely sidestepped Orban's media machine.
He's visited almost every city, every hamlet. He's walked hundreds of kilometers to meet voters.
So that's a grassroots effort from somebody from within who's doing that. That's as much as I'll show of that. Like I said, though, if you want to watch the rest of it, it's only like 11 minutes, I think. You can watch the whole thing. But here is Anne Applebaum, who is going to give you kind of some of the parallels as well. Also this idea, again, the whole point, okay? The whole point is the fact that our vice president is going over to put his thumb on the scales of this election that we shouldn't be involved in. I thought we just want countries to do what they want to do. If they want to elect Orban again, that's on them. If they would like to elect the man running against him, that's on them. Why the fuck are we involved at all?
Look at what Hungary has become. So Viktor Orban has been in charge of Hungary on this time around 16 years. During that time, he has used his power as a democratically elected leader to change the nature of the Hungarian political system. He has taken over the institutions of the state. He's taken over the judiciary, the media, the bureaucracy, universities. Thanks to that, and thanks to the unbelievably high level of corruption that's been the result, Hungary is poorer. It's now one of the poorest countries in the European Union. It's certainly the most corrupt country in the European Union.
Mark, you're right. They don't have to listen in the same way that we don't have to listen to TV advertisement, but it means something. To sit there and say, on one hand, Mark, that we are the most powerful nation in the world, and then to say, like, they don't have to listen to us. Yeah, they don't have to. But our opinion means a lot. Our weight is a lot in the world. That is silly. That's really, really silly.
So they mentioned Transparency International a little bit ago, saying that Hungary is the lowest on their CPI, on their corruption perception index, of all of the UK or of the not the EU.
The EU.
So a low number means, or a low score means the more corrupt you are. The lower your score, the more corrupt you are. Hungary is at, I believe it was 40. Yeah, they're at 40, tied with Burkina Faso, Bulgaria, Cuba, Guyana, North Macedonia, and Tanzania. They're tied for 84th rank of most, or like the higher that number, the as far as the rank goes, the more corrupt. The United States is on that list, ranked 29 with a score of 64. So we're only 24 points higher than what they were stating. Countries that are above us include, well, Denmark is the least corrupt country in the world.
That poorly run Greenland blue.
Right. Finland is right behind them. Singapore, New Zealand, and Norway are the top 5. Germany is tied with Iceland for number 10. So for all of you Trump supporters who like to live in the past and think that Germany is still this corrupt country from 1942, they're significantly less corrupt than the United States of America right now.
At least we're better at something than somebody else. We're better at being corrupt. I guess. If you want to find the glass half full in that, I do you, I guess, Matthew. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Before I drop, Eli, I want you to clip something from Moni's timeline later, but I gotta go. Bye, love you. I want your timeline, not you. Your timeline.
Oh, okay.
I want the dumb ideas are not illegal.
Oh, yeah. That one's good.
I think that'll be great as a soundbite.
It is a good soundbite. We love Kyle.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
I was like, what did I do now? I didn't do anything today.
And it's has problems with healthcare, education. He's not even talking about any of that during the campaign. Instead, he's weaved this kind of mythical fantasy about an invasion from Ukraine, that the Ukrainians are going to invade Hungary. He's trying to create a kind of scare thing. I was in Budapest.
Does that sound familiar? Oh, no, the immigrants.
3 weeks ago, there are posters of Zelensky all over the city with the headline, with the slogan, "Don't let him get the last laugh." And he's not winning. I mean, he's certainly in the opinion polls, and there's a wide range of them. He's well behind in some of the polls, about 20% behind. And now the only question is what he will do to either halt the election or change the results or create some kind of outrage.
Well, we know what he's been doing with Russia. We understand, of course, there was the report, I believe it was in The Economist, that Russian security services were talking about a fake assassination attempt to help bolster him in the polls on the way to the election. Also, of course, last week, Michael Weiss with the reporting of a call, an intercepted call between Lavrov and the foreign minister of Hungary, where they're just openly colluding to try to figure out how to do anything. Are you even surprised by how close the last month has shown Hungary being with Russia, and how they're basically shoulder to shoulder?
And again, the reason this is an issue is because Vance is over there. So here is a double-sided clip. I love when they do this. This is one he was in Hungary. He delivered a speech in Hungary. And in one instance tells them, I'm not telling you who to vote for. And then a little bit later says, go vote for Orban.
And we want you to make a decision about your future with no outside forces pressuring you or telling you what to do. I'm not telling you exactly who to vote for. Then, my friends, go to the polls in the weekend. Stand with Victor Orban because he stands for you and he stands for all these things. God bless Hungary and God bless the United States of America.
Oh, I thought you weren't telling them who to vote for. But go to the polls and support Orban.
I have no words.
Do they think we're not going to run the tape?
We've been running the tapes for years. They just don't care.
And here is he's trying to explain that this is not U.S. influence. Like, then why are you there?
For peace. This is not American influence. Do you know how much, again, I would never do this, but you know how easy it would be for the United States to threaten Hungary economically in the same way the EU has? We would never do that because we respect our friends enough to respect their democratic will.
What? We don't threaten our allies with economic ruin? Is he a real person?
That's all we've been doing. We've been threatening everybody, allies and enemies.
This is literally Donald Trump's entire economic policy was threaten our allies.
Like, look what he's doing, saying to NATO right now.
The fuck do you mean? We would never do this. We did it before they did, but we would never do this. They did threaten the Pope, our bear, and I did go over that.
What's going on in the EU, what's going on in Brussels, what's going on with some of these foreign influence operations, I'm telling you, it is a scandal. It's the reason why I'm here. This is unprecedented. It's unprecedented for an American vice president to come the week before an election. The reason why we're doing it is because we thought there was so much garbage happening against Victor in this election that we had to show that there are actually a lot of people and a lot of friends across the world who recognize that Victor and his government are doing a good job and they're important partners for peace. That's why we're here, but ultimately the Hungarian people are going to be sovereigns because that's how it should be.
But it's not influence. We're here because, you know, elections are messy, and elections, the shit that you throw at each other with advertisements is gross because that's just how elections work. But we're not coming here to influence it, even though there's all this shit going against an ally. We would never. No. Why the fuck are you here? And here's just another example of the hypocrisy when they speak.
So first of all, I wasn't even aware that Zelensky had said that he was going to send private soldiers to the prime minister's residence until yesterday. Victor
Again, don't know where that's getting reported from.
actually told me that, and then I went and looked it up. Almost couldn't believe it's true, but it's true. That's completely scandalous. You should never have a foreign head of government or a foreign head of state threatening the head of government of an allied nation.
You should never have a head of government threaten the head of government of an allied state. You mean like Denmark and Greenland? You mean like saying one way or another, we're going to have them?
And threatening NATO for not backing us in that particular instance? Yeah. Not to mention this, what we're doing now?
Like, yeah, Canada.
The entire he's creating an anti-UN.
Yeah, literally. Like, do you guys, we're not shocked. My shock comes from the fact that you guys can't recognize it. Again, I ask you, what do you hear when they talk?
They hear what they think is an eagle screeching, but it's actually a red-tailed hawk.
That's true. The sound that you think is not the sound.
Preposterous, it's unacceptable. And what I find so interesting about, there's a lot of conversation about foreign influence in our elections. So you saw this back in 2016, where a lot of the American media said that it was a true scandal that the Russian government bought like $500,000 of Facebook advertisements during the 2016 campaign. And for what it's worth, I don't want Russia involved in our elections in the same way that I'm sure you don't want any other country involved in your elections. I've also been told that the Vice President of the United States coming and saying that Victor Orban is doing a good job and is a helpful statesman to the cause of peace, that's foreign influence. But what's not foreign influence is when the European Union threatens billions of dollars withheld from Hungary because you guys protect your borders. That's apparently not.
No, they spread Russian propaganda, which is what you are now doing also, Vance. Like, we have McCarthyism, which I didn't even like McCarthyism, but McCarthyism is dead in this country. We no longer look for the Red Scare anymore. We don't look for it at all anymore. We are just Russian simps as a country. It is wild.
Yep. They want to go back to the 80s to justify what we're doing in Iran. But they can't see what Russia is doing right in our faces. They can't see what Israel is doing right in our faces. They can't see they can't see what our own administration is doing right in our faces.
Oh, Welchin said that Russia isn't communist anymore. They never were. They never were, so I guess there's that part of it. But it's okay. Vance called Donald Trump at this rally. Spoiler alert, he doesn't answer at first.
Before I started my remarks, I actually had a special guest that asked that I give him a phone call, and we'll see. Let's hope he actually answers. So this is going to be very embarrassing. All right.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Okay. Try one more time. Gotta get a good signal here. It's ringing.
Awkward.
It's progress.
So awkward.
Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Hi. Hey, JD, could you give me a second? I'm just...
Trump didn't even know where JD was.
Mr. President, you are on with about 5,000 Hungarian patriots, and I think they love you even more than they love Victor Orban.
Well, I can't believe that. I can't believe that because I love Hungary and I...
He just had to tell Peepaw where he was calling from, or else people would have gone off on his usual rants, which wouldn't have made sense to Hungary. So he's just like, hey, just so you know, we're in Hungary.
Love that, Victor. I'll tell you, he's a fantastic man. We've had a tremendous relationship, and he does a job. Remember this, he didn't allow people to storm your country and invade your country like other people have and ruin their countries, frankly.
What?
He's kept your country good. He's kept Hungarian people in your country, and he's done a fantastic job. And let me tell you, I like him a lot, but if I didn't think he did a good job, I wouldn't be making a call like this. But, boy, that sounds like a big
You
crowd.
didn't make the
and
call.
That sounds like my kind of people.
You didn't do that.
Yeah,
He
also
kept Hungarian people in Hungary.
Mm-hmm. It's just more anti-immigrant, racist fucking rhetoric. That's all it is.
I'm happy I made the call. What fucking call?
I do have one more clip from Vance that he talks about while he's in Hungary, which I think is really weird. But we'll get to that in a minute. I do want to go to Republican Representative Don Bacon, just talking about how he does not think it's a good idea that he's over there at all. And then we'll do that next clip.
Prime time. No, it's because that was planned. That was not planned.
That was not planned.
That was absolutely
Did you listen?
not planned.
He didn't answer the first time.
And the second time, he was about to be like, JD, I can't talk right now. He almost
Give me a
cut him off.
second. And then they all started clapping. So he's like, oh. Like, what do you mean? Peepaw was not ready.
There are people that like me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll talk to them.
We know that J.D. Vance, Mark Caputo of Axios was just talking to Sarah about how J.D. Vance, the vice president, may be taking the lead in some of these talks now. He's in Hungary, and he's backing up and supporting Victor Orban for re-election. You have been outspoken about the Hungarian prime minister before. What do you make of just the simple fact that J.D. Vance is in Hungary right now to boost Victor Orban?
I'm attuned to this. My mom's side of the family were Hungarian ancestry. My grandpa, his family came from Hungary, and they have a long tradition. In 1956, they revolted against the Soviets. They're very freedom-loving, peace-loving people. But Prime Minister Orban is the most friendly country in Europe to Russia. They've done more to undermine Ukraine and NATO than any other country right now, other than maybe Russia itself. But the most NATO country that has tried to undermine NATO from within. I think it's a crazy, terrible mistake to go into someone else's country and campaign for one of the candidates over the other. We don't want people interfering in our elections. We've seen where people have tried that. We don't like it. I guarantee you the Hungarians don't like United States going in there and messing with their elections. That's what Russia does. That's what China does. So I would encourage the administration to get the heck out of Hungary, let the people there determine their own elections. And what happens if the other side wins? And they're going to say, oh, the president, the administration of America supported my opponent. How's that going to play out for years to come? I think it's a dumb mistake to get involved in other people's domestic and internal politics, particularly democracy where people are going to vote. It sends a terrible message. I think the vice president should get out of Hungary ASAP, and I prefer them negotiating with Iran than doing what he's doing in Hungary.
And he brings up a good point, which is, what if Orban loses? We endorsed the losing candidate? Ooh. Oh my gosh, what is that? Wow, why is it? Okay. It was...
I thought that was Stella.
Just coming from the top of the chair. I was like, what's touching me? I didn't know what it was. It scared me. Oh my God. This is going to be a massive pivot, but these are funny to me, and so I like to end on funny, so we're going to play these two clips that I put in the cope section of my outline that I create.
Was it in all caps or was it in Times New Roman?
It's Google Docs does Arial, so I just do Arial when I write it. But
Ruben! Sandwich!
Oh, Sandwich, hi! Don't mute smart people. No, we don't mute smart people.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We won't.
We won't. We don't mute smart people here.
Goodbye, Sandwich.
Every day. He still shows up every day.
Ari, I got him!
She's been waiting, because I've been on that with the trigger finger. She's been waiting for him.
We don't kink shame.
We just kink ask why.
If he has a degradation kink, that's on him.
Can we still add time to his mute? I guess. I don't remember what we were charging, but yeah. We can. I have it. I literally have it in my notes. It's written down over here when he is free. $2 a day.
Isn't it like June or something?
It's July.
July.
What? Say what again? It sounds. Say what? I got him. Is that what you want me to say again, then, Addie?
Let me find it. Yeah, July.
That's wild. Imagine being soft banned from somebody's live until July, and you keep showing up.
Oh my God, Lunati.
Until 2029, it's crazy, Lunati.
2029B, the second 2029.
The second one. The B-sides.
Goodbye, Sandwich. That's all I said, Lunati.
Do you want to keep Ruben quiet? It'll just be part of the mod announcements.
Goodbye, Sandwich.
Oh my God. So on Fox, again, they're coping. And so we did what we always do, which was we're going to say that Trump tacoed, because that's what the fuck he does. And this was obviously before the ceasefire was broken, but he did taco. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to taco about that in a minute. Hi, Justin.
Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that we have our own Ruben over in the TikTok chat. Every day that Ruben's gone, Daniel Pack, bye-bye.
Yep. He hates me.
So,
and he shows up every day.
So that's all. All right. Bye, y'all. I gotta go back to the salt mines.
Oh, gosh. Goodbye. Back to the salt mines. Is that where I'm keeping you?
So when Ruben gets muted, David Pack gets muted?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like
2.0.
So in Pokemon, there's this thing called a Soul Link. Where two players are playing like different seeds of the same randomizer, and if one player loses a Pokemon, the other player also loses a linked Pokemon.
They're gonna say different seeds of the same bird. I'm like, what?
Different seeds of the same. Hubbub, that's wild. Hubbub said, "Justin, get back behind the mule and plow."
That's crazy.
Somebody used to use a term called field Caucasians, but that.
I don't say words like that because I don't think I can.
I can't either, but I didn't say the way that Liv says it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I learned from people that I cannot repeat, but I do chuckle when I hear them.
So since we use the term taco for Trump always chickens out, Fox came up with a new one. Let's see if it's a banger.
According to Chairman Kane, but you mentioned the 8 previous conflicts that Trump tackled. So Democrats are already saying that this is taco. Trump always chickens out. Let me give you another acronym. Nacho. Never avoids confronting hard obstacles. And that's exactly what President Trump...
He sat long and hard in the dressing room and he's trying to come up with acronyms. That's what that fucker just did.
Put it on a bumper sticker. Sell it.
He went to ChatGPT. Best comeback from the liberals who call my president taco, standing for Trump always chickens out. He went from quesadilla to burrito and then went to nacho.
And Republicans are normally like frustratingly good at messaging.
Yeah. They're so good at it. And Dan, you're right, because it's even worse because he's saying this after a segment that I played yesterday that came out where Fox News even admitted that none of the objectives that Donald Trump set forth for Iran have been accomplished. Like, this is cope. And he's probably just going to glaze now. I'm guessing that's the rest of the clip.
I'm
hungry.
He went in.
I know, we were like...
I made that up on my own.
That's pretty good.
Because I was thinking
With the help
about
of
the
ChatGPT.
opposite of what that would be. He didn't chicken out. He's willing to confront what previous presidents for 47 years couldn't do to stand up to him. And look, they're, according to Chairman Kane...
Too bad it already fell apart. We need one for enchilada.
I'm going to come up with a better one. Are you ready? Nacho. Bitch.
Ooh, got him, zing!
Oh no, I'm hurt. Whatever will I do?
And,
Besides talk about the nachos.
The last one we have is Jesse Waters Cope. Again, they're talking about nacho. Taco. Look, they've already got me. See how bad propaganda is? They've already got me. Taco taunts. And he's gonna whataboutism, but with George Bush.
I get paid to pay attention to what she says, but it's okay. It's almost worth it. So we fought in Iraq for 9 years. We fought in Afghanistan for 20 years. Mm-hmm. The Democrats never called Bush, Obama, Joe Biden chicken, never called him a madman. But Trump...
War criminal, Hitler, yeah, that came up.
That wasn't even Jessica Tarlov, who's their liberal panelist. It was their fucking Republican panelist who was like, well, I mean, they did call Bush like a war criminal and Hitler. They did say those things, Jesse. Like,
oh, Eli did a new audio.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
It's in the live chat.
Are you exhausted of seeing Ruben in the chat? Are you tired of his dumb takes? Do you enjoy contributing to his degradation kink? For only $2, you can make him shut the fuck up for one more day.
Saving. That's immediately getting saved. Oh my God. Eli did.
It turns out quesadilla is a real political acronym.
For what?
It says questionably upends every stable arrangement, declares that leadership loses attention.
This is real?
Yeah. Put in quesadilla acronym.
No, that's his fucking Instagram. Stop. That one's better though.
That one's great. That fits in perfectly.
It's from the...
You know what? Tofu. Trump only fucks up.
Trump only fucks up. Where was the... Let's see. Oh, yeah, it was social media.
The right doesn't eat tofu.
No, wait. Okay, because they're referencing... That comes from they're referencing the Fox News, okay? So they talk about the Fox News one I just played. Here's the actual clip of the one I just played. Burrito, boy, unintended repercussions really interfere with targeted outcomes. Burrito, bumbling, unstable, ranting, ridiculous, idiot, tangerine oaf. Here's quesadilla. Questionably upends every stable arrangement, declares that leadership loses attention. Tamales, Trump always makes a lot of embarrassing shit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, these are just Twitter posts.
Yep. I love
People
that.
making fun of them.
I'll take it, though.
Yep.
We're saying that's going in the outline. That's going to be in there. Just want you to know.
That's gotta go there.
I want to go to there.
I want to go to the outdoor.
Great job, leftists.
Yeah.
Not Ari.
Sorry
I love
about
my
yesterday.
my boss is so great. She said Eli, she said you need to redo it and add $7 for a week or $25 for the month.
There's no enchilada acronym.
Discounts. Nice.
I don't think they know how to spell that one.
No. Not AI overview being like, you dumb bitch. Enchilada is not a standard acronym. It is a Spanish word derived from enchilar, meaning to season with chili or cover in chili.
Dumb bitch. Stupid single bitch.
That's what Google just said.
Single bitch.
Beans. Now we're just listening. Now I want Mexican food. On top of the fact that Chicky showed us her carne asada tacos, and now I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
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 Me.
No.
Fuck you!
Are you going live, Olive?
Hector said to. I don't know if Hector's still in here. I will for a minute. I do want to get your roll down a little bit more. So if I don't get anyone, we'll just do music live. So.
Don't go live for me. You might have to go live because Hector said so. I don't know what that's about. But...
I'm confused. I got message. I said, okay.
You got it.
I'm scared.
Beans is an easy one. Just buffoon ends all Russian sanctions.
No. That would be bears.
Who's the R in
Oh,
beans?
yeah. Oh, bear. Sorry.
There's no
Ally.
R in beans.
Go away. You're done.
Why?
You're
I
done.
feel
Hi, Dano. Oh, God. And then she left. Jeez. Okay, fine. Well, me and Blue will say goodbye nicely. Bye, Blue. I will see you in a little bit.
Absolutely. See you later.
See you later. And then I cut you off. We're all just rude to each other. I don't know what this is. Your biggest bullies are your friends. I just want everybody to know. That's what happens. Rude. I'm sorry. Let me get through my thank yous one more time before we go raid. Olive, thank you. Lanati, thank you. Connor, thank you. Olive, thank you. Chicky. I think that's all of them. I don't think I had any on this one today. Yes. So thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it. We got that goal. We almost got that goal accomplished, so not too bad. I'll take it. I'm so sorry to Swarovski for the stock market and the oil being up, but I just think we need to have it there, especially the oil right now. We just need to have that there while we figure out what the fuck's going on in the world that we keep fucking up. The news keeps going. We pretty much got through a lot of my outline. I think I had stuff on the economy, but I want to save that because the CPI is supposed to come out tomorrow. We'll see what the inflation looks like tomorrow and how that's going on a year-over-year basis. So that'll be interesting. You're getting into the stock market. Oh my God, Monster. Oh my gosh. So I appreciate you guys. We're going to go over and raid Olive. That is what we're going to go do over here on TikTok and on Twitch. If she goes live on Twitch, we will also do that. I can't raid on YouTube, but you guys can go over to Jar of Olives and go raid her over there as well. So we're going to do the raid, do all the things, but I appreciate you guys. I will be back tomorrow, Friday, where we will do this shit all over again, and hopefully no fuck shit goes off while I'm, not here. I'll teach. Okay, you'll teach me later. Thank you. Ari, she just knows everything. Why are we, support Ari. If you're not following Ari and supporting her, what the fuck are you doing? Because, the only reason I am where I am is because of her. So do the things. I will see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. I appreciate you guys so very much, and I will see you tomorrow.